This is Football League Radio, brought to you by TradePoint.
McDonald making room for the shot, took a deflection, it goes in. And Wolves have taken the lead, looking to extend their unbeaten run to 6 games and go up in style. Ball bounces in and beyond Ben Garrett. And David Edwards makes it 2 to Wolves, and the championship beckons.
Yes, huge congratulations there to Wolves. Promotion at the first time of asking, but will the title follow? It's a question that we put to former keeper Matt Murray and the club's CEO Jez Moxey. And why not make it a double celebration? Johnstone's Luton Town are back in the Football League after 5 years of asking, and we speak to the manager himself. While some go up, others go down, and whilst Nottingham Forest deals with a downward spiral on the pitch, off it, Chairman Fawaz Al-Hassawi explains why Billy Davies had to go and why Stuart Pearce didn't have to start straight away. We've got QPR defender turned goalscorer extraordinaire Nedum Onuoha, and he talks us through his wonder strike. And Northampton manager Chris Wilder is the latest to take on our quick fire quiz.
On radio, online and on mobile, this is Football League Radio.
Welcome to Football League Radio with me, Matt Holland, available on the Football League website, iTunes, SoundCloud, and now also on Audio Boot and the Football League's YouTube page. I'm delighted to say that joining me in the studio is the former Derby, Wigan, Watford, Peterborough, Bradford, and Notts County midfielder Craig Ramage. I've not missed anyone out, have I, Craig?
Just the under-21s as well. I've got a couple of England under-21 caps, Matt.
Sorry about that.
As well.
Yeah.
I like that international before my name.
Well, welcome to the show, and we will talk about your career shortly. But for a lot of our younger listeners, they might be more accustomed to hearing you on BBC Radio Derby. Enjoying that?
Yeah, it's fabulous. The job come around, start of the season. Being a hometown lad as well, it's a dream job for me, really. I'm watching some great football. I think I've got the hot seat at the right time as well, Matt. You know, they're doing really well this season. Was
it always something you wanted to get into, or did coaching take your eye at all?
I coached at Stoke for 2 years. Stevie Holland got me there. Obviously, he went to Chelsea in the end, so I left there. But no, I started. John Marks got me in at Watford on BBC Three Counties. I started doing the Midlands, around the Midlands, and the commentating there, and I started to enjoy it. And then Radio Derby asked me to commentate 3 Burton games over Christmas last year, and then it come about the job in the summer, and I had an interview, and I got the job, and I'm really excited. I was really excited about it because when I was commentating at Watford, obviously I'm coming home. Now I'm commentating in my own town, so it was more pressure. I put more pressure on myself, but things have been going well. The team's playing really well. Ratings have gone up, so we've got to be happy about it.
It's all down to you.
3 points was vital on Saturday. That's really, barring a meltdown, we're in the playoffs now, so obviously the town's buzzing. It's been a great season. We're on 75 points now, 11 points clear of 7th.
Any chance of the top 2?
I'm a great believer. I do Monday nights as well, where we have fans ring up, and like I've said, they've got to be positive, because it would be a shame if they go and really go into these next 4, because we've got a good run in. We've got Doncaster Friday night, Barnsley, Watford at home, and then we've got Leeds away. So they're all winnable games, Matt. So if we can go out there, and I think that's what Steve McLaren will be instilling in them, give it a right go, try and get maximum points, win 4 games, put the pressure on Burnley, because, okay, they lost on Saturday, they're 8 points clear of us, but if we get another win and they lose 5 points, and they start looking over the shoulder, because they've not been there before, so the pressure will tell. So it's one of them. I'd hate us to go and, lose a couple and then Burnley really, falter, and we weren't there to capitalise on it.
You also want to go into the playoffs with momentum as well, and on a good run, don't you? What about Huddersfield? We haven't spoken much about them on the Football League Radio show. How did they play at the weekend?
I was quite impressed with them to a degree. I thought, which I know Mark Robbins really well from the under-21 days. He still lives in Derby. Stevie Taylor was apprenticed with me at Derby. So I know them, and to be fair, they were one of my outside tips at the start of the season, where I thought they might be do like a Bournemouth, have an outside chance of the playoffs. Because we went down there, we played them at Huddersfield, and they played pretty well. But I think that James Vaughan's a massive blow for them. That's where the goals are. But I like the look of Wells. He gave our 2 centre halves a few problems. He's quick, he's slippery, he plays on the shoulder. So they've got a decent side, and I think it's just a young side, a bit inexperienced, and I think the legs have gone a little bit, so they're feeling the pace now with 4 games to go. But I think they just need one more win just to make sure they're safe. They definitely need another win.
But I want a brief word as well on another of your former clubs. I listed about 10 at the start of the intro. Wigan, in the FA Cup at the weekend, really unlucky, weren't they, to lose to Arsenal?
Yeah, they play superb. It's one of them. It's penalties, and we've just been saying before the programme, Matt, me and you had that experience of, I think it was a fourth round FA Cup tie where...
That was a few years ago now, you know.
Yeah, it is.
96, I believe.
96, wow. And, you know, we
told me you won it, though.
Yeah, we won it. We like I said, I set it up because I was penalty taker that hopefully I'll take the fifth one. I was down for the fifth one, get all the glory. Obviously, it was one to keep us in it. But, yeah, I think you said we won at 8-7.
Something
I think
like that.
Keith Millen got the winner. But we experienced it. It's one of them. You've got to get off to a good start when you take penalties. You know, because that breeds confidence behind you. If you miss, it puts extra pressure on the one who's taking it next. And I think that's where it just, you know, with Calderwell missing, I think it has a knock-on effect. You've got to start well, and I think that's what let them down. But performance-wise, I think everybody's scared of Wigan in the playoffs. You're trying to stay away from like Wigan. You'd like to just play them in a one-off game because, you know yourself, Matt, Uwe Rosler's come in, he's organised it. You know, the back four, they're steady. They've virtually got the Premier League squad that they come down with, so they've kept the nucleus of the squad. So the quality's there. I mean, they're going to be a force in the playoffs. Yeah,
certainly an exciting end to the season, and plenty more from the Sky Bet Championship shortly. But in League One, Wolves were celebrating after securing their place in the Championship next season with a 2-0 victory over Crewe. Let's hear now what Chief Executive Jez Moxey had to say.
We're obviously delighted that having been promoted, 4 games to go, some unfinished business with the league title still up for grabs, and I know the team and Kenny are determined that they try and bring that for the fans. I think in a way I'm pleased with the way it's sort of the timing has unfolded because it keeps this season alive. 4 games to go. You know, we've set some records along the way. We always said that they didn't mean anything unless we achieved the promotion. We've achieved promotion, but the most important thing for the team is for us to try and secure that title if we can. We probably don't have enough time to kind of explain all of our feelings, but what I would say first of all is that this season, as much as anything else, has been about re-establishing the bond between the supporters, the fans, and the team and the club as a whole. And I think our players have done that admirably. Now, obviously, winning helps. Winning's the most important thing. And they've set a fantastic achievement in terms of 28 wins so far this season. I think 24 clean sheets. And that creates a sense of euphoria, and fans are pleased when they see us winning, of course. But I do think, more importantly, there is a real sense of togetherness, and partly that's because of the winning, and partly because of, young academy players have come through, Danny Bath, local players playing, Liam McAlinden breaking into the team, Jack Price, etc. And that's very much part of our DNA. It's what we want to achieve. So to have turned it around after a very dark period, let's be fair, in such tremendous fashion is very pleasing from a professional standpoint. But most importantly, the fans and the team are now together again. Many big club has been relegated into League One and has not got back out first time round. So yes, it is expected. We wanted it. We didn't talk about it, but we kind of expected that was the objective, and we've achieved it in first time round. But we've also done it, I think, really importantly, on a backdrop of slashing the wage bill, moving a whole host of high-profile players out, and developing young players, and giving young players their head an opportunity to lead. And many a professional football manager said to us, one in particular, you can't win this league unless you have it full of old, experienced heads. Well, we've certainly disproved that. I think we can certainly hone our plans more so in terms of who we want to bring in. We have got a number of these players returning that we will be looking to move on, and they want to move on. So lots of balls are up in the air. But I hope that come the start of next season, we'll have a team that we want and wants to play for us, and a team that we can be proud of. Well, we know the Championship well. We know how tough it is. I think it's getting better. We've got some financial fair play issues to have to deal with. But what I want most of all is for the momentum that we've created to continue through the summer, for us to do some business that everyone's happy with and have a team that uses that momentum that it's created going into the championship, and let's hope we have a great season. These players are very professional. We've got Ken as our head coach, who's extremely professional. Any time a Wolves team steps on the field, we want to win the game, but with 4 games to go, we owe it to this league. We've respected this league. We said we would. We've respected every single opponent, and with 4 games to go, we'll respect every opponent we've got to play, and let's hope that we can win every single game, because that's going to be the aim.
Well, that was the Wolves CEO, Jez Moxey. We can cross now to the club's training ground and speak to the former Wolves shot stopper, Matt Murray. Matt, you must be absolutely delighted with Wolves' season.
Oh, yeah, really, really happy. The way we've, at the end of last season, everyone was so hurting from back-to-back relegations. I don't think anyone thought we'd be in League One. Obviously, the board sat down and looked at what they felt had gone wrong, and they had some big decisions to make. And Dean Saunders might have thought, given time, he'd have turned it around, but they made a decision that they were going to bring Kenny Jackett in, and what an appointment he's been. It was vital that we got back up, but also to rebuild that sort of, that connection with the fans. And I think in the first away game at Preston, we took so many fans that they set their standard, the fans, and they've been magnificent. And I think that everyone in the club's been absolutely amazing. And, and to see the players doing it and to feel it, Jens Crew and everyone coming on and such happy scenes. And, I'm down the training ground now, and it's absolutely, it's just a really, really good feeling. But they want to go on and win the league now.
You mentioned Kenny Jackett and the job he's done. What exactly has he done differently?
Obviously, we've started winning. We've got home wins. We've been brilliant at home and handled the pressure. People think, Wolves have come down, parachute payment. Of course, they should be going straight up from League One. Well, Sheffield United are still in that league. Took Leeds a couple of years to get out of it. Southampton have been down there, Norwich. So it's a tough league. And when you're in that league, you're a big scalp. So people are coming to Molineux, big stadium and everything else, and thinking, it's like their cup final. So Kenny's handled that pressure, brought people in, got a good balance of youth and experience. So he's convinced the likes of Jacobs, got Goldburn, Sam Ricketts, all of them to come down from the Championship into League One, buy into what they're doing, score goals, move the likes of Carl Henry on, Stephen Ward, Jamie O'Hara's not been involved, Roger Johnson, in the last window, Lee Griffiths, Kevin Doyle, and he's brought other people in. So he's gone in there and made some tough decisions, some big decisions, but got the balance of the dressing room just right. First, the results were there, but not the performances. Then the performances and not the results. And then for the last bit, we just kicked on, and it's all been there. Lots of goals, really, really good organised defence, and that's why the lads have been breaking records. And everyone's it's just a whole feel-good factor. So down the training ground now, everyone is pulling the same direction. Everyone feels part of it, and that comes from the manager, Joe Gallen, the board, and that. And it's just a really good times at the moment for Wolves.
Matt, I've got Craig Ramage in the studio with me. Craig, you played under Kenny Jackett at Watford. How good a manager is he?
He's very good, and I think the Wolves board, they should take some credit for it as well, because I bet a certain amount of Wolves fans would have been, a bit despondent with the appointment. But what you get with Kenny Jackett is no-nonsense manager. He'll come in, he'll clear the deadwood out. He's not bothered about big names, big egos, big earners. If it doesn't fancy you, you're out the door. And he likes to start from the back. He starts really well from the back. He defends well, stops them leaking goals, and brings young players in like Jacobs. And he expects a shift out of you. He expects hard work. If you're not doing the hard work, you don't play.
Well, there's certainly no doubt that defence has been key to Wolves this season. 24 clean sheets, a club record. Matt, who's been the key performers, do you think, for Wolves this season?
Well, when a team's doing so well, it's hard. Last season you didn't know who was going to be Player of the Year because it'd been such a disappointing year. This year, there's probably, honestly, 4 or 5 players who could easily get it. Obviously, Karl Hakimi in goal. Talk about the clean sheets. He's been magnificent. Big times when he's had too much to do, but then he's come in with that big save. Danny Bart, I think he's been pretty well and ever present. Come through the youth system. He's been brilliant. Kevin McDonald, what a signing from Sheffield United. Big lad, gets on the ball. So he gives a physical side, but also his skill on the ball, his range of passing. And then, like you mentioned there, Jacobs and Henry, they've been awesome as well with the goals and the creativity they've brought. So it's hard to say. You've got youngster heroes, Sam Ricketts and Richard Stearman, who've come in. So there's so many players that have been, vital. As Craig said there, the defence has been pretty settled. He's not changed it too much, and that back 5 unit has been brilliant. And I think, Kenny realised he wanted a new captain, bring someone in and Sam Ricketts has led the boys really, really well. And talk about standards and that. So you're just looking at the lads now, everyone's doing their bit right. Whether it's the warm-up, people in the gym before doing the pre-activation, that's all come from the manager. When every time I come to the training ground and people are out of the team, they've been in the gym, not sulking. They want to be part of it. And say the manager's absolutely awesome like that, and doesn't take any prisoners, but he talks to people with a lot of respect. And I know that the lads, some of them might not like him because they're not playing, but everybody definitely respects him down at this training ground.
No one likes a manager when you're not playing. What's his message? What's his message now? Is it let's go and win the title?
Oh yeah, I mean, you listen to that and the way that the boys, they could have had a good few days off and been celebrating, because obviously the vital thing was to get promoted. But no, they're in. They'll be building towards the weekend. Obviously the Friday game is big against Rotherham, and then the Monday down at Leyton Orient. And if we win those two games, then that means really the title is ours with the goal difference we've got. So yeah, let's finish it off in style. Can we get over 100 points? And also, whenever you've listened to him talk, yeah, the here and now is very important and to get out of the league. But I know he's excited about next season, because he's got a lot of young, hungry players. He doesn't care about the big names. He wants young, hungry players who want to make a name for themselves. And he believes that a lot of these will really be able to acquit themselves well in the Championship. And he'll be looking to, bring a few more additions in, so that, the expectation levels of Wolves isn't, oh yeah, we've been in League One, we just need to consolidate the Championship. Other teams have had back-to-back promotion. So I really do think that we will already be looking at that, what we're doing in pre-season, who's coming in, and how can we at least be getting a top 6 finish for next year, because I think he'll want to be a Premier League manager. That's why he took the step down from Millwall in the Championship towards the League One, because he can see the potential of this club.
I was going to ask you about that, the realistic ambitions for next season, because you quite rightly mentioned a couple of teams in the last few years, Southampton and Norwich, have gone from League One to the Premier League in consecutive seasons. Do you think Wolves can match that?
Yeah, definitely, because I think no one would have thought Burnley would be where they are. They haven't got the biggest of budgets, but because Sean Dyche has got a team that are all pulling together, whether it's the tea ladies, the kit man, everyone's on side. I've done a few Burnley games this year, and everyone's been absolutely, waxing lyrical about how Sean Dyche has done that job. So that's the sort of person, the model you look at. A lot of, they've got a nice blend there, and they say that togetherness. You need to keep the key players fit, get players on good form. So I think with the back-in, it'll be interesting how Kenny handles the things at the start of next season, because Kevin Dole will be back off his loan, Stephen Ward will be back off his loan, Roger Johnson, all players that haven't featured this year but still have another year to run on big money. So
do you think they'll be back? Do you think they'll be back in the squad though, or do you think he'll try and sell them? Financial fair play, etc.
Yeah, I think he'll want to move them on. But when players are on such big wages, it's not that easy. He managed to do it eventually this year. Jamie will still have another year as well, Jamie O'Hara, and he's hardly featured at all. So I don't think that they really have futures at this club, but he still has to be able to move them on. So until they've gone out, then he won't be able to bring other people in. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in that side. But I think, yeah, definitely that Wolves can be challenging enough at the top of the league. They'll be organised, they'll be fit, and they'll be raring to go.
Matt, really appreciate you joining us. Enjoy promotion, and fingers crossed for winning the title.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I will. Thank you.
Well, former Wolves keeper Matt Murray clearly enjoying what he's seeing at Wolves there. Craig Ramage, my studio guest. Craig, Wolves are up. Let's have a look at some of the teams that are hoping to join them. Brentford, they need, 6 points now to be promoted. They seem to be struggling to get over the line. He's done a brilliant job, Mark Warburton, taking over from Uwe Rosler. Are they going to do it?
Yeah, I think so. I think they'll get up. I think 7 points clear, are they? I think it's as it is. I think them two will go up. They'll go up with Wolves, and the others will be fighting it off in the playoffs.
I actually saw Kevin Lisby at the weekend, the Leyton Orient striker, and I was talking to him about the top of League One, and he was saying that he felt that the best two teams were going to go up. He said that Wolves and Brentford were the best two sides.
Yeah, Leyton Orient, I think it's a dodgy patch a few weeks ago where they
first win in 6.
Yeah, they couldn't buy a win, and I think they just fell off the pace a little bit. And like Preston are a decent side. I think I've got connections there with John Dreyer, the assistant manager there. They're decent. So it's going to be, that's how I look at it, Matt. I think Wolves, Brentford up, and I think that as it is, the playoffs there, Peterborough, Preston.
No chance of Swindon creeping in?
No, I don't think so. 4 games to go. It's virtually signed and sealed there.
One of your former clubs, another of your former clubs, Peterborough, they're on a good run at the moment. 3 home wins in a row without conceding. They're hitting form at the right time.
Just at the right time, spot on, Matt. I think they needed to. They looked a little bit inconsistent a few weeks ago and whether they're going to make it, but I think now they've hit it at the right time. They've crept into the playoffs, and hopefully they'll stay there now.
We had Barry Fry on the show last week. He's some character. I've come across him a few times working with him. He's not shy, is he?
No, he's fantastic though. He's an absolutely great bloke, Matt. Obviously, I experienced it. Kenny Jackett sent me there to get fit because I had a little bit of an injury at Watford. I went and had a month with Barry. Well, Barry offered a few quid for me when he was at Birmingham as well, but Watford turned that down.
Any particular stories?
Oh, I've got plenty of stories.
Any you can broadcast?
Yeah, there was one. One was really funny because it was my debut. I think it was at home against Cardiff. It was raining, sludgy pitch. It was like unbelievable game. And I come in at half time, and then it all kicked off in the dressing room. And I think Barry's like, he's excitable, and he's gone up to the centre half, Bods I think it was, and sort of just went, "You've cost me 25 goals this season," and then Bod's thrown his orange juice in Barry's face, and it just all kicked off, and I'm like, oh my God, what's happening here? You knew where he was with Barry. When I signed there on loan, he just got me in his office because there was some characters there, your Ricky Ottos and people, and first thing Barry said to me, "Rammers, you're on free kicks, corners, penalties, throw-ins." But yeah, he's an absolutely fantastic man. You know where you are with him, and he looks after you. And I enjoyed the month. It was a really good month. It was an eye-opener, but I really enjoyed it.
So you think those four are going to be in the playoffs, Rotherham, Preston, Peterborough and Orient. Where'd your money go?
I think Leyton Orient. They've got Lisby up front, haven't they? He's a goal scorer in this league. He's always dangerous. But you know yourself, the lottery, aren't they? Playoffs, it's who can take the momentum into the playoffs, keep the form going. And it's always difficult, but it's all about getting to Wembley, get to Wembley, and then you go again.
Yeah, it certainly is, and it's pretty tight at the bottom as well, isn't it? Notts County on some run. I keep saying this, your former club, Notts County. You played under Sam Allardyce, I think, there. Sean Derry's done a fantastic job, hasn't he?
He has. He's come in. He was struggling at the start. They were conceding goals. They were still getting beat, but he's really pulled it round, and he's given them a lifeline, to be fair, and I think they'll survive. I think they'll keep going and they'll grow from here now.
They seem to be mirroring Sean's character, don't they? That fighting spirit, 2-0 down at the weekend, come back to win 4-2. They seem to have that fight that Sean Derry had about his play. Absolutely,
Matt. You'd have played against Sean Derry, same as me, and that was the way he was. He was a leader. He likes to get stuck in. Drags people together, and that's what he'll be doing as a manager, and that's what he's all about. And he'll instill that in his team, and which you can see with the form they're showing now. They're getting the results, and it is an hometown lad as well. It's his hometown as well, so he's got an affection there. He wants to do well there, so he's got the bit between his teeth. And fair play to Sean Derry. I think hopefully he'll keep them up.
That's the voice of this week's guest, Craig Ramage, and we'd love to hear from you as well. Tweet us at football_league or send us your views and opinions using the hashtag FLRadio. You can also email the show on radio@football-league.co.uk.
TradePoint, come on lads, get the man. TradePoint, one stop, get the lot. TradePoint.
Pick up your new TradePoint catalogue in store today with over 1,500 new products. Check out tradepoint.co.uk to find your nearest counter. TradePoint members only.
TradePoint.
Getting it back off Halford. Now Morrison. Carroll. And Noah! That is quite something from Noah. And that has most probably won it here against Nottingham Forest.
Well, this is a quite fabulous finish. The highest compliment I can pay him. He finishes this like Charlie Austin. Doesn't even look at the goal.
It was a goal that any striker would have been proud of. Football League Radio regular and QPR defender Nedum Onuoha putting his side back in the lead on the way to a 5-2 victory over Nottingham Forest. I'm delighted to say that Nedum joins us now. Fantastic goal, wasn't it, Nedum?
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. Probably one of my favourite 8 of my career so far. Yeah.
Who needs Charlie Austin?
I wouldn't go that far. So.
It was important you got back to winning ways, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, most definitely. I think a few weeks ago we thought we were still in with a chance of finishing second when you saw that Burnley had a few injuries and they were out of form. But then unfortunately we fell out of form as well, and so did Derby. So it's good to finally get some momentum and be feeling good going into the next games, especially with the playoffs still soon.
Are you resigned now to the playoffs? That top 2 out of reach?
Although it's not impossible, it's unrealistic. But you just have to keep winning your games and see what happens.
Harry Redknapp, I want to talk to you about Harry. I was lucky enough to play under Harry many years ago at West Ham, and he's got this reputation as being good in the transfer market, bringing in ready-made players, but actually developing players I felt was one of his natural skills on the training field. I thought he was a terrific coach, and perhaps doesn't get the credit he deserves for that.
Yeah, but perhaps you're right. But I think it's been a bit different for him since he's been at QPR, because the situation has been one whereby there's so much pressure in terms of where the club finishes that it's hard to really develop people. Say in the first season we were fighting relegation, so he didn't really have time to sit down with people there. And then this season the big thing is to try and get promoted, and given the fact that we have so many more senior players, with lots and lots of experience anyway, it's hard to try and take them to that next level. But then obviously there are people like Charlie Austin, Matthew Phillips, I think he's in Junior Hoylett, just to name those three, who have developed under him because of the fact that he's given them opportunities and given them confidence on the training pitch and on the field.
Just going back to the game at the weekend, conceded a couple of goals from set pieces. How frustrating is that?
It is a little bit. So, it's something that we do have to work on. But, I think if you want to not concede from set pieces, just don't give away any corners, and everything will be all right. We'll win 5-0 then, I guess.
and that celebration at the weekend with that goal that stuck in the thumb, any reason behind that? I believe congratulations were in order?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I had my first child on the Sunday before the game, so I was very happy, very tired, and it just, I'd not scored for such a long time, but it happened, and I thought, oh well, I'll have a bit of that, have a bit of action.
Is it a boy or a girl?
It's a girl, it's a baby girl called Amaya.
Hopefully she'll keep you up every night.
You know what she had been doing, but I still scored anyway. So
is she going to give you more sleepless nights or being in the playoffs?
Oh dear, I think if I can have both, I'll be all right.
Well, thanks for joining us, Nedum, and good luck for the rest of the season, and good luck in the playoffs if that's the way you go.
Thanks, Nedum.
Thank you very much.
That was QPR defender Nedum Onuoha, but it was another bad day at the office for Nottingham Forest, who are managed by Gary Brazil until the end of the season when club legend Stuart Pearce takes the reins. Mark Clement met with the club's chairman Fawaz Al-Hazawi to look ahead to the future, but also to ask if he regretted giving previous manager Billy Davies so much power.
Billy Davies or any manager, we will support. But things in the end with Billy Davies didn't work. He's a good manager. I wish him all the best. Maybe he can do it with other club. He started well with us this season. I mean, even when he took over from last season. But unfortunately, it didn't went well. Still, there is a big chance for us. And at the moment, Gary Brazil, he's in charge till the end of the season. And on the 1st of July, Stuart Pearce will be our manager. And he is legend, of course, for Nottingham Forest. And he have a good CV on the managing stuff.
Billy's grip seemed to go way beyond football, Fawaz. Do you regret giving him that amount of power?
No, I don't like to talk about what happened before.
But here's the problem, Fawaz. There'll be a lot of people watching know this traditional football club.
Yes.
And you bought it for those very reasons. But they look at what's happened over the last 13 months and they think, what has gone on there?
I understand. This Nottingham Forest is a big club and who has won many competition, of course, for the European Championship. Also, they won the FA Cup, the league. They won many trophies, and it's a historical club. But as you know, we were with not only Billy. Before Billy was Alex McLeish, and before Alex McLeish was Sean O'Driscoll. But my aim is to win, is to take the club to the Premier League. When Billy left, actually 8 games we didn't win. We had 3 draws and 5 losses, which is too much. And every club have the right to make changing. Especially at this moment, to help the club so it can succeed and to go to the Premier League. Maybe I will go to the playoff. Maybe not, but at least I tried my luck. And as you know, everybody maybe they don't know who's Gary Brazil and what he's doing right now. But Gary Brazil, he's a good manager. I know him very well, very close. He's doing a good job with the academy, with the reserve team. He's doing well against last game against Ipswich. I hope today he will have a positive result. But regarding Billy's stuff and what's happening before and this, I don't want to talk about it. Things finish, and I don't like to say anything regarding any manager was in charge before, because I remember also there is good things happening in this club. So with Billy or with Alex McLeish or with Sean O'Driscoll, I respect them all. I wish them all the best. This is football. We don't have anything against each other. We are always going to be friends. I am like this. I always treat people as my friends. But we call it business.
But just to be clear, Billy went for football reasons because he didn't win for 8 games, not because he wasn't talking to the media. Many people were saying, what's going on at Forest?
There is many issue I didn't like in the beginning regarding the media, because my club, I would like to open my club for everybody. Everybody is most welcome to come to this club, and everybody have to say his opinion, either good opinion or not good opinion or something he want to say about. Because I have a Twitter myself. Many people blame me. Many people say negative things about Fawaz Al-Hassawi. I respect his opinion. No problem. Let them say whatever they say. I don't blame the fans. I don't blame the media. I don't blame nobody, because everybody want to say something. But I have one thing. I answer in the field. That's it.
Now, was there no way you could get the right manager that was available now to guide you through these last few games of the season?
To be honest, I had a meeting with the Stuart Pearce 10 days ago, or maybe 2 weeks ago, regarding to take over. But Stuart Pearce in the beginning, he have some issue regarding TV and this, and he have some private stuff, I don't know, regarding family issue and this kind of stuff. So he didn't accept, to be honest, to start with us from 2 weeks ago. So I said, okay, I would like to rather wait. I don't want to rush. I will wait until the summer, okay, to find a new manager. And then we were talking with many managers, but it didn't work. And I said, no, I don't want to find, in the end, I want to find the right manager for Nottingham Forest. And I would like to have somebody who have link from Nottingham Forest, because he know Nottingham and he cares about Nottingham. After I have another chat with Stuart regarding to take the job in the summer, and he said, okay, and I said, okay, then in this case, no problem, we can continue the season with Gary Brazil, and Stuart will be in charge from the 1st of July.
Did you try and persuade him to take over for these last few games? Did you try and push him and squeeze him a bit?
Yeah, of course. I wanted Stuart Pearce to be with us, and because, to be honest, I am a big fan of Brian Clough, and all the people who work with Brian Clough, and all the people who was in charge during that time, if it's a player or an assistant, I respect them, because they work with the legend, to be honest. And Stuart Pearce, he's not only that, he have a good CV. He was in Manchester City, he was with the national team for England, and also he was a player here, and he won too many competition with us, and he cares about Nottingham, and he wants the best for Nottingham.
Feels a little bit like a compromise, though, that maybe you're forsaking your chance of promotion this season, with the greatest of respect to Gary Brazil, in order to get the right man long-term strategically.
Yeah, of course. I mean, when I bought this club, that there is a plan between 3 to 5 years, and I think I am ahead of schedule, because last season I am almost in the playoff. This season I am still in charge in the playoff. You never know. Maybe it will happen. And I trust Gary Brazil, and of course, I will trust more and more Stuart Pearce and his staff, of course. And I think if it didn't happen this season, we will try our best next season, and we will try to push hard to be in the Premier League. Hope so.
Are you absolutely confident that you've now got the structure right here? The right man is going to take charge of your football team. You're feeling more in control of the club again?
Well, I hope that Stuart Pearce will do the job for us, and I hope I will be backing him up always and support him, and we will be behind the team, and every player who's going to ask from me, I would like to help, and I would like to bring for him to be either, if we're going to be in the Championship, and you never know, I hope we will be in the Premier League.
That was the Nottingham Forest chairman, Fawaz Al-Hassawi. Craig Ramage in the studio with me. Clem spoke to the chairman about Stuart Pearce there. He was in the stands watching at the weekend. Shouldn't he be in the dugout?
Yeah, it's a strange one, because they had a great chance as well, Forest. They're still up there. They've got a good squad. I think someone else coming in, the momentum, trying to, because you know yourself, Matt, when a new manager comes in, you try and prove yourself. Everyone starts firing again. So it'd have been a great time to bring Stuart Pearce in. But no, who knows why? He's got commitments. Things are going off in his life. He's got World Cup duty. But when he's sitting there in the stand, You know, you think you'd be having an input in the changing room.
I've got to say, it seems a missed opportunity from Forest's point of view. From where they were, they've gone 12 games without a win now. They were nailed on for the playoffs not that long ago.
Yeah, well, I think they went on a run of like 14, not getting beat. They're on fire. I think they had a couple of injuries. Lansbury was out, Reed. But then players were coming back at the right time and they're still virtually in the playoffs. So it'd have been a great time then to bring in Stuart Pearce to fire everyone up again and give it that push, because you're not guaranteed, you know yourself, Matt, in football, you're not guaranteed next year that you're going to be in and around the playoffs. So, you know, I think it's a little bit of a mistake on Forest's behalf there.
It's been a strange period, hasn't it? Because Neil Warnock turned them down, then Stuart Pearce turned them down, then he went for further talks and he's decided to take the job, but starting, obviously, on the 1st of July. You've got to say, when you look at the squad that Forest have got, they should really have been in the playoffs.
Oh, definitely. They've got a cracking squad. You've seen it yourself. They've got Mackie. You know, they've got Cox. They've got strength in depth as well, Matt. So they are a force, and it's just one of them where you think, well, they just needed someone to come in and push it on. And I feel like it's a chance missed.
What about the man who's in charge at the moment, Gary Brazil? I believe you know him. I think he was in charge of you at Notts County.
Yeah. I've had a bit of experience with Gary. He's a great bloke. He's a nice fella. Probably not strong enough for me to take the main job, obviously, because obviously he's not doing it. But when someone comes as an assistant, like he did for Sam Allardyce, it's hard. I feel sorry for assistant managers when they do try and get the job. I had Paul Jewell as well at Bradford when Chris Kamara got sacked. Jewell come in. Well, the rest is history. He did pretty well. We had a decent side there. But Gary come in at Notts County. It's difficult. It's hard to get that respect off first team players.
But it's hard for the players, isn't it? Because as a player, you need direction. You've got a man who's in charge. You know he's not going to be the manager next season. I suppose subconsciously you take your foot off the pedal, don't you? When you know that he's not going to be there come next season.
Well, you've got a different rapport with the assistant manager. The manager, you're a bit standoffish. You know, you've got that sort of a different respect, if you know what I mean. The assistant manager, some days you're rolling around with him in headlock. It's one of them, if you know what I mean, Matt. So you don't sort of get the respect. Obviously they deserve, but it's just human nature. You just do not get that respect, so it's difficult to do well.
I must admit, I think I've always felt that if you're an assistant manager at a club, you probably have to go somewhere else to be a manager. I mean, going back to my time, Les Reed did the same at Charlton. He came from being assistant to Ian Dowie, got the job, lasted 7 or 8 matches. I think it's very hard for a number two to have that authority once they've been a number two at that club.
Absolutely, it's just so hard to command the respect, and you know you're spot on. I think you do. You have to just move on. You know, I'm a big believer. You go with the manager, and then you hopefully start again somewhere else.
Been a few mistakes at Forest this season, hasn't there? With the media blackout as well is something that didn't help them this season.
No, Billy brings a lot of things on himself. You know, I think we had a little bit of that at Derby. You know, he's one of them. He's insatious, isn't he? He's one of them. He fights against people. He makes it difficult for himself, for me. And when you get rid of your media, it's not fair on the fans, to be fair. The fans are wanting... Not everyone can afford to go to the match, Matt. So on a Monday, they probably want to read about the club. And they're not getting any of that. You know, it's pretty harsh on the club. And I think they've done the right thing, to be fair. They needed a bit of a clear out. And hopefully they'll probably sort themselves out now.
Yeah, club legend in charge next season as well. So they'll be hoping for better next year. As for the rest of the division, I mean, the race for the playoffs is very much on. Probably Reading, Brighton, Ipswich, Bournemouth looking at that last playoff spot. Which way do you see that going?
Your old team. I've got a sneaky feeling for your old team. I think
Which
Eddie
one?
Howe's
Ipswich or Bournemouth?
I think Eddie Howe's doing really well. He's got good backing. He's got a decent few players there now, and they've got this confidence that, like you said a bit ago, Matt, they've got the momentum, and I think they can creep in there. They're gonna be a force if they can keep going.
I've got to say, it's been a fantastic season for Eddie Howe. I know Eddie. I actually played with him many years ago at Bournemouth. And he was one of those, you often in a dressing room, you look at players and you think, is he going to be a manager? Is he not going to be a manager? With Eddie, I think you always felt that was the way he would go. Best ever total already in the second tier. Their best ever finish, was 1989, 12th under Harry Redknapp in this division. So they're on course to beat that anyway.
What type of manager is he then, Matt? He's not a ranter and raver,
No.
is he? Don't look the type.
No, he's very intelligent, a real thinker. He's learnt from people who's been at the club as well. Obviously, he would have got advice from Harry Redknapp, who took him to Portsmouth. Sean O'Driscoll as well, another terrific manager. He likes to play the right way, that's for sure. And another of my old clubs as well, Ipswich. We had a few battles in the playoffs. Mick McCarthy's doing a fantastic job. I just feel as though they might just drop short. I look at their fixture list. They've got to travel to Watford. They've got Bournemouth Easter Monday, travel to Burnley and then Sheffield Wednesday. I just think that the fixtures might go against them.
They're a hard-working side. They like to get the ball up to Murphy, is it, up front?
Yeah,
they're
Murphy.
very direct. But I think, like you said, Matt, I think they'll just fall short this year.
If you had to have a bet on it, who's it? I personally think that it might be Brighton. I think that they're finding form at the right time. They've got Jesse Lingard, who looked exceptional at the weekend. The fixture list is probably the best of the four teams fighting for it. I just think that they've got a bit of momentum. It might just be Brighton.
Yeah, I've got a soft spot for Bournemouth, but obviously, realistically, I think Brighton, they're a good footballing side. They've got Joa up front, very lively, good touch, good in the air, scores goals. I think they're getting Mikel Smith back as well, so if he can get in the running, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Just quickly at the bottom, I want to talk about Blackpool. What a weekend. I mean, what a run it's been for them. They're right on the verge of the bottom three at the moment. I think they won 5 out of the first 6. They've had a horrific run. And Barry Ferguson, somewhat out of desperation probably, picked himself. 3 wins, I think it is, out of the last 27.
Yeah, that is desperation, isn't it? When you've not played for a good few weeks and he's stuck himself in. But to be fair, they're pretty poor. They're lacking confidence. They're leaking goals. And I think they're going to be what are going to be really sucked into that relegation mire.
It's going to be tight, that's for sure. And just from the midweek fixtures, Charlton losing at home to Barnsley. I felt as though Charlton had done enough, got themselves out of trouble. They keep winning their midweek matches, or kept winning their midweek matches until that defeat against Barnsley. They look as though they're being sucked back into it.
Yeah, they're so inconsistent. 1 minute you think, well, they've gone and won 2 on the bounce, they're going to start moving away from it, and then they just get sucked in again. They lose, like you said, a massive game. 6-pointer that was against Barnsley. It's gave Barnsley a bit of confidence, a bit of a lifeline.
Well, they did it last year, didn't they, Barnsley? I think last day of the season was at Huddersfield. They got themselves out of trouble. History going to repeat itself? It'll
be tough, but they're right. That result was massive for them. You look at 39 points. Charlton are only on 41, and it goes up to Blackpool on 42. So it's who dares wins, really, Matt.
Absolutely. What about another of your former clubs? Watford, mixed season for them, mid-table.
I was commentating on them last year. I had an absolute cracking year. I got a Wembley appearance out of it as well, Matt, with the playoff final. Okay, it was disappointing. Palace, they just bottled it on the day. But, Zola got the sack a few months ago, and the new fella's come in, and he's made them harder to beat. Deeney's still got 20-odd goals this season. He's been brilliant again this season. He's made them better in defence, solid, made them more solid, where Zola was more attacking-minded, like to play the free-flowing football. But I think they're not going to be anywhere near it. I think that hopefully next season they'll give it a really good go again.
The views there of former Watford and Derby midfielder Craig Ramage, and you're listening to Football League Radio, brought to you by TradePoint. If you want to see and hear more from your Football League club, then why not check out their YouTube page, where you'll find exclusive interviews, match highlights and plenty more.
Kick it. TradePoint. Come on lads, get the man. TradePoint. One stop, get the lot. TradePoint.
Pick up your new TradePoint catalogue in store today with over 1,500 new products. Check out tradepoint.co.uk to find your nearest counter. TradePoint members only.
TradePoint.
Well, after a 5-year wait, Luton Town confirmed their promotion to Sky Bet League 2 without kicking a ball this week, courtesy of Kidderminster's victory over Cambridge, meaning the top side in the conference are now uncatchable. Delighted to say that John Still joins me on the line. John, massive congratulations. You must be really pleased.
Yeah, mate, you know what? It's been, as we all say, it's been a long season. It's been a tough season, but we've done fantastic. We started reasonably slowly and got better and better. Put the great 27-game run together and overhauled the teams in front of us. Last week, I think we were 16 points in front. Cambridge, won a couple of games to bring that down to 10. Which is still a good gap. We've got a few games to go now, and obviously them not winning yesterday is, meant that we know we're champions, and it's absolutely fantastic. I didn't think that perhaps we would do it in a year, but we have, and that's all credit to everybody involved.
What's your secret? Seriously, you've led 3 different teams now to promotion to the Football League. What is it?
Mate, you know what it is. It's hard work.
That's no secret.
But there is, you know yourself, it's not a secret. I have a way of doing things that's always served me well, and the foundation of it is everyone has to work hard and be part of the team. Everyone, you can't do it without that vital ingredient. Yeah, you need good players, but at the end of the day, I think that the harder you work, the luckier you get. If you've got decent players and they work hard, it gives you a chance. And it's worked for us this year. We really have. I think we're only a few goals away from 100 goals, and I think we're only second in terms of clean sheets. So everyone's done their bit, and we've been able to pull the support right behind us. We had 10,000 here last Saturday, which is incredible, and they were 100% behind the team non-stop. And they're all ingredients to make for success.
I want to ask you about the supporters, because I read there was a banner after one of the games. John is God.
That was my mum.
That was your mum, yeah. No, of course. How important have they been this season, those fans?
Massive, Matt. Not often have we been behind, but when we've been behind, when I first come to Luton, people would say that opposing teams come here, they want to play here because of the size of the club and the support it gets, and they say keep the crowd quiet for 20 minutes, and they get on the own team's back. Well, we've turned that round now. If it's 0-0 after 20 minutes, our support gets louder and louder and louder, and it drags us through. And that they have been absolutely immense. And I'm not saying that because we've won the league. They've been immense, really, since 3 or 4 games into the season. We seem to find a way of getting them right behind us, and they've been immense from day one. I mean, 10,000 here last week. We've sold every away allocation that we've had in the last 6-8 weeks. It's been unbelievable.
A lot of people questioned when you left Dagenham and Redbridge in League Two to drop down to the Conference, the reasons why. Was it this day that persuaded you to join Luton?
Yeah, it was, Matt. I've been there nearly 10 years, and, it's a club close to me. It really is. And, but I decided really that it was time, and I wanted to go somewhere where it was going to be a massive challenge. I just wanted that. And, I'd spoken to a few clubs in the league, and, I wasn't sure, that it wasn't going to be a little bit standing still. I wasn't convinced of the ambition and that. And when this came up, it wasn't something I wanted to do. I didn't particularly want to come out of the league, but I agreed to meet them, and having met them, and I explained to them how I saw things, and they said that's what they wanted. They felt it was going to be right for them, how I would do it, and I decided to do it. But quite a few people, I'll be honest with you, advised me maybe it wasn't the right thing to do, but that was actually one of the reasons that I did do it, because of the challenge of it. It was the journey the club was going to go on that hopefully would lead to success. But if it didn't, it didn't. But that's just a challenge that was the thing that made me do it. And today, or last night, really shows that, maybe I was right.
A challenge, yes, but also you're joining a club with a rich history as well, a team that has had success in the past.
No, absolutely. Having sort of been at Dagenham, we had, for that club, immense success. And, the philosophy of the club, which was quite right for a club of that size, we had to sell the best players, which would sort of not help our progress, all of the time. Where possibly, what we have here, it could aid another promotion, and then maybe another one. I don't know, but it is the size of the club does give it a chance to grow, and in modern football, support and the financial support as well that's how clubs have to grow, and we're in a position that may be possible.
John, I've got Craig Ramage with me in the studio, an ex-Watford man. I'm sure he'd like to offer you his congratulations as well.
Yeah, I bet he would.
Yeah, congratulations, John. It's a fantastic achievement, mate. It's one of them, like the Watford fans won't be pleased I said that, but deep down they will be, because this is what Watford fans want as well. They want them local derbies back. I played in 2 of them, full houses, and the atmosphere it generates is absolutely unbelievable. And when you see Luton Town down there in the conference, it doesn't lie right with me. And especially the history and the tradition, the players what have come through there, like your Ricky Heals, your Steens, your Hartfords. I played with Hartford, Hartson, Priest. You can go on. They've had, the history of the club is amazing.
No, it is, and you're absolutely right with that, because it was about 2 weeks ago. I was just coming out of the training ground, and there was a supporter there. And he went, almost, John, almost, we're almost there. He went, I want to be back playing Watford.
Brilliant. That's what it's all about.
No, absolutely. No, it is. And, we've taken a small step on that path. And let's hope that, we can keep taking them small steps. And
5 years is a long time, John, isn't it, being out of the league? 5 years Luton have been out of the league. 5 years too long. Too long.
No, it is. You're right. It's too long for a club of this magnitude. And, as I say, hopefully we start taking them small steps closer.
I used to like playing at Luton as well, because it's got that traditional ground where it's close in. It's really enjoyable. You hear everything said in the crowd, a bit like the baseball ground used to be years ago. It's a fantastic club.
No, it is. As I say, the closeness of the supporters. These new grounds now are fantastic, but they don't have the atmosphere of what I call the old football clubs. And this is a proper old football club. And as I say, the noise it generates around the terraces is fantastic, mate.
John, brilliant. You've got a brilliant record at this level. How far can you take Luton Town?
I don't know, Matt. I think it can grow if we do everything right. And I believe that the club is run very, very well now. And I have a way of doing things. I like to grow things. As much as just go and spend as much money as you've got to bring the top ones in. I like to grow it, but I just like to think if we stick to the formula, that we can push up through the leagues over the next few years. I really do believe that. But I think if we try and go too fast and do it just on finance, I'm not sure that's the right way. I think that I think we have to grow it, but we have all the ingredients to grow it up through the leagues. I really do believe that.
John, I know how good a manager you are, because I was lucky enough to play under you in a charity game not that long ago.
Best player, mate.
At Dagenham and Redbridge.
Best player, Matty. Best player.
Oh, you can come on again. How did you celebrate promotion?
You ain't going to believe me. My wife. I was at Crawley watching Crawley Tranmere. My wife was at my daughter's because my granddaughter wasn't very well. So I went back there after the game, and she was sort of tending my granddaughter. So I ended up going home on my own, going to bed at 2 o'clock because the phone never stopped going. Got up at 4 o'clock because I couldn't sleep. Watched. I taped something on Sky Arts of Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. I sat up and watched that. I didn't even have a drink, but I can assure you I'm going to have one tonight.
I don't blame you. Work just never stops, does it? I suppose a busy summer ahead as well.
You know what? It will be a busy summer, but I'll tell you what, I'm going to have a long holiday. Seriously, me and my family, I'm going to make sure I have a long holiday and relax. Because when it all starts again, what we've done now will be a memory, and we've got to get on with the new season.
You deserve it, mate. Congratulations once again from us here at the Football League Radio, and thanks for joining us.
Top man, John.
Cheers, thanks very much, lads. Cheers, mate. Speak to you later. Cheers, lads. Bye-bye.
Great to hear the views there of John Still, the Luton manager, who will be plying his trade in League Two next season. Exciting at the top, but it's also nail-biting at the bottom. Chris Wilder's Northampton had that great win at the weekend. Play Wickham next up, so big game for them. And Chris Wilder's on the up as a manager, and he was in good mood recently when he joined us as a studio guest on Football League Radio. How do you reckon he did on our quick-fire quiz?
Chris Wilder, tackle Lees. Which team did you make the most league appearances for during your playing career?
Rotherham United.
Got any idea how many?
Yeah, 132, because I've just seen it on your top.
If you're not cheating, you're not trying. Just ahead of Sheffield United, 105. During your entire playing career, did you make more appearances in the FA Cup or the League Cup?
I had a ridiculously poor FA Cup career, so I should imagine League Cup.
League Cup, actually 28 to 25, so not as far behind as you would think. Moving into management, how many trophies did you win during your 27-week tenure at Alfreton Town?
4.
And can you name them?
Oh, here we go. Champions League.
Yes, that's right, yeah. Champions League.
Premier League, no.
Yeah.
North East Counties, Cup and League double, Derbyshire Senior Cup, and President's Cup.
You got it, baby. Very good. Who scored the goals to fire Oxford into the Football League in 2010, beating York City in the conference playoff final?
James Constable 2, Matt Green 1.
I've got Matt Green, James Constable, Alfie Potter.
Alfie Potter, I could forget.
You did
Last
forget.
minute. Yeah, you're right.
Oh, it's gone. It's in the past. Plus, of course, Ryan Clark scored an own goal for York. Before you left Oxford United after 5 years, how many other managers in the Premier League and Football League had been in their job for longer than yourself?
Arsene Wenger, Paul Tisdale.
Bingo! You did quite well, although clearly we have to make this null and void because you cheated with the first answer.
So Chris Wilder doing pretty well on that quiz there. You fancy that, Craig?
Oh, I've never really been good at quizzes, but yeah, I'll have a go.
What, in your own career?
Yeah, I probably struggle. Can't believe where 25 years has gone.
It's gone too quickly, that's for sure. But thanks for joining me.
You're welcome, Matt. Really enjoyed it, mate. Thank you.
No problem at all. My guest this week, of course, on Football League Radio, brought to you by TradePoint, has been former Derby and Watford midfielder Craig Ramage. Remember, the show's available to listen to on the Football League website, iTunes, SoundCloud, the TuneIn and Stitcher mobile phone apps, on YouTube and on Audio Boo. I'll be back next week, but until then, goodbye.
Football League Radio, in association with TradePoint, is an engaged sports media production for the Football League.